After months of promising it, after months of working to get there, I finally did it. 1,000 subscribers. As a matter of fact, by the time I upload this, I'm probably closer to 1,050 subscribers, but I did it. Yay! So, this is the Another Pen Celebration Iceberg. It's basically the iceberg that is your go-to for Another Pen lore, weird stories about the channel, about me, and basically kind of a thank you video for 1,000 subscribers, because I really can't thank you guys enough for that. It means a world to me that I was able to do that, and I've kind of avoided talking about it just because I don't know how I'm gonna phrase it. So this is the thank you. All of this video. There'll be other segments where I get on tangents about it, but anyway, if you're not an Another Pen fan, you probably already clicked off the video. If you're new here and you didn't click off the video, this is about my channel, so you can go check out some of my other videos first and decide if you like that before you come back here, or you can just learn about me. This will be a great introduction to Another Pen. And now, without further ado, we're starting at level 1. Buckle your fuckles, get cozy, we're diving right in. Iceberg videos. My channel is very niche, but it is best known for its iceberg videos. The iceberg videos are what gets the most views. The Ultimate True Crime series was an iceberg. I am tackling the mystery series here in a few weeks, and though it is technically an iceberg, I won't be presenting it as such. But basically, a lot of the content that is here is icebergs. Not majority, because there's almost 300 videos on my channel, and only about 50 of them are iceberg related, but a lot of them are iceberg videos, and it is what my audience gobbles up, which is why I'm still making them. Humor. My style of humor is a very big influence on my channel. My presentation... fuck. Humor. My style of humor is a huge influence on my channel. My style of presentation is very sarcastic and cynical compared to a lot of other channels. When I watched Mystery YouTube, I often found that it was incredibly boring and that it was carbon copies of what is the same deep, smooth-voiced Midwestern man, just trying to be a Netflix documentary. And that's not to discredit them, because a lot of them do it very well, and those channels are very entertaining, but I wanted to spruce it up and add humor, and I did, and I'd say it's worked pretty well. It's created a very unique niche of content. It's a crossroads of sorts. I don't think anyone quite makes content similar to mine, which is very good in the sense that I'm very recognizable in my presentation, in my style, and it's also, I'm very niche because humorous infotainment? What? You know? It's just such a bizarre out there thing that it's not seen often, which is pretty cool. I'm glad that I've been able to create that unique sense rather than being yet another carbon copy YouTuber looking at you, Minecraft YouTube. But yeah, that's humor. The True Crime series. This is, well, it's not the hallmark of my channel, but it definitely is by far the most ambitious and bold project I did so far. It is a iceberg that is around 248 entries, I believe. Yes, almost 250 entries. It took me 28 hours to cover, which, Wendigoon, your conspiracy iceberg was only 9 hours, so you're gonna have to do better, bud. You might have 1.3 million subscribers, but I have the longer video series, so who's really winning here? Now, this was caused because I don't know how to say no. You know, I didn't really like the topic all that much, and it didn't grow on me, I'll be honest, it did not grow on me, but I feel like that added to my cynical, sarcastic presentation. I was able to dance around with jokes pretty well and not be insensitive, which is impressive in this realm of content. But a subscriber messaged me on Reddit and was like, listen, I want you to cover this iceberg, I love your presentation, I want you to cover this iceberg, I'll pay you. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm not really in it for the money right now. I mean, I am in it for the money, but at the time I wasn't monetized, so I didn't care about cash, because I'll worry about that when I'm monetized, right? Again, me from a few months ago. not the brightest feller out there. So I agreed to do it for a paltry sum of $20, thinking that I could cover this entire thing in a month. And then life happened, and it kept happening. And it kept happening. Which, to be fair, with how long this took to actually explain, covering it in a month was not possible, and the fact that I managed to do it in 6, with everything going on, and just the sheer length and density of these uploads and the edit time that my editor had to go through, I'd say it's pretty damn impressive. Unfortunately, the guy who messaged me on Reddit deleted his account before I could ask him what he thought of the finished product. So hey, you bastard, if you're watching this, message me. Alright, I don't care about the $20, it's $20, whatever. But I want to know what you thought, at least. Editors. Alright, so I have one main editor and a second editor who's about to begin work soon. My first main editor is Linthari. She's been here for about a year now. She became my editor basically because she just kept asking until I said yes, if I'm being completely honest here. I wasn't really open to the idea. I mean, I had like 130 subscribers at the time. What did I need an editor for? And it wound up really paying off in my favor because there was a period of time in my life where I had the time to record videos, but I did not have the software, the cash, or the time to edit videos. And for a while, the way it was that Linthari put all of these together. So a lot of these old videos on my channel wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for Linthari's work. Now, luckily, I am in a fortunate enough position to no longer be entirely reliant on my editor for video production. I still do have her, work for me because that's the deal we struck up. But it's no longer, without Linthari, there isn't another pen, which is a phrase that kind of bounced around there because when she's putting together every single video you're making, that's kind of how it is. But yeah, that's my main editor. My second editor, well, she hasn't really told me what she wants to go by online, and I don't want to just call her Discord handle. But basically, she started working for me because I was talking about how I wanted to hire a second editor, and she was like, well, I want to learn how to edit. And I was like, cheap and exploitable labor. Me thinks yes. And that's how I got editor number 2. Sleep and Dreams Iceberg. The Sleep and Dreams Iceberg was probably right at the peak of my bargain bin moist critical iceberg phase, where I was constantly talking like Charlie because I liked his humor and wanted to draw from it, and I didn't have much original, and half of my humor was just swear words. So, I mean, honestly, looking back on it, it is a different kind of another pen, and I do still like it. It is still entertaining. But also, I could have done that so much better. But it is, for whatever reason, the most viewed video on my channel, for now. I'm very much so hoping that as new content rolls out, it definitely won't be the icebergs that are rolling out, but as new content rolls out, I do hope to overtake that and start anew, basically. And with that, we're on to level 2. Now, this is stuff that most people who watch my channel should know. It's all very obvious things that I say in most videos or somehow mention, or just things you should see. Community tab tomfoolery. So, 6 months ago, I was granted access to the community tab. You gain access to it when you hit 500 subscribers, and this was by all rights a mistake on YouTube's account, because it lets me directly interact with you guys without making a video. So we get some genius polls like, what comes to mind when you think of me? How entertaining I am? The dozens of heinous crimes I committed in 2008. Everyone knows what they think there. Do you trust me to not seduce a clown? Yeah. No. The Clussy will make me act up. See, stuff like that. Or, which sounds like my name, Logan, John, Austin, Balzaroth, Consumer of Worlds, Penneth. Let's just say, I'm not comfortable with how many of you got it right, but I will not be telling you my real name. Also, advertisements for the Discord, and then in general, just me asking like legitimate questions. There's a lot of tomfoolery that happens in the community tab. When I first got it, it was just all shitposts. It was all jokes. Legitimately. There was, it was fun. It still is fun. I still enjoy the community tab very much so, but it is very entertaining to just post some stupid shit and get away with it. Oh yeah, like the time I vomited at work because of Jack in the Box egg rolls. This actually happened. This was an embarrassing moment in my life. Videos over 500 views. On my channel, I have 298 videos right now, soon to be 299 when this video is published, but majority of these videos do not pass 500 views, or they have not yet passed 500 views. As a matter of fact, out of all of my videos to have been uploaded, only 57 have passed 500 views. Now, most of these are icebergs and me playing guitar or something iceberg related. There are a few oddballs, which is just me generally shitposting, or it's just one of those oddball videos that I made that did very well, like Harrison Briggs. Lots of people watch Harrison Briggs and still do for whatever reason. And then we go over to here. There's the other videos that I've made that have, bizarrely enough, done very well, despite them being old. You know, most people do not know about the Grubhub ad iceberg chart, despite it being my very first iceberg chart. And then there's the Redditor Worthless 319 video, which I have some salt about that, but we will talk about it when we get there. Buckle your fuckles. Moist Critical used this phrase like once in a video, and I stole it, and I use it in every video now. And what the fuck is he gonna do? Stop me? Absolutely not, he's not. That felt like an Escher sentence. Just did not make sense. You know, more people have been to Berlin than I have. Memento Mori. Alright, this one goes way back. I'm gonna have to explain a bit of another pen lore here. So, Memento Mori is Latin for remember death or remember that you will die, and it has also been the outro to every single one of my videos except for shorts since about October of 2020. Now, why do I say Memento Mori at the end of every single one of my videos? Well, an outro is a lot of things that a lot of YouTubers don't get. There isn't a specific phrase that most YouTubers have. There's Moist Critical's, well, that's about it, see ya. And there is, of course, Markiplier's, until next time, bye-bye. But most YouTubers don't have that kind of thing. The ending is often very weak in a lot of YouTube videos, because only, you know, like, dedicated viewers are making it to the end of videos. Statistically speaking, most people who watch my channel don't even make it to the end of the video, so what does it matter? Well, it matters to me. And Memento Mori was also the catchphrase of a very important channel to me, this channel being Unus Annus. Now, there was a point in time where everyone who watched my channel knew what Unus Annus was, but that time has passed. So, for those who don't know, Unus Annus was this YouTube channel created by Markiplier and Crank Gameplays, and it was a channel created with the express purpose of dying. It would exist for 1 year and 1 year only, and then it would be deleted forever, and it was one of my favorite things ever. There's some videos I've watched on that channel that I don't think will ever be topped, and I do hope one day to put out a similar style of funny content. I do have some plans for stuff like that, but my god, was Unus Annus one hell of a creation, and dear lord did I love it. Truly, Unus Annus was my favorite thing of 2020, and I was really sad to see it go. As a matter of fact, Unus Annus is what brought me back to YouTube. You know, for the first few videos, it was kind of a, like, a little mid-fest. It was all bad. It was just bad all around. It was a solid 0 out of 10. And I was making these very bad low-effort videos, and like, why don't I have 1,000 subscribers yet? And then I got sad, and left for the summer. And then I found, basically, a fan Unus Annus ARG that brought me back to the channel, and I started saying Memento Mori at the end of those videos as a nod to Unus Annus, and then I kept doing it, and then Unus Annus died, and I still do it. So, realistically, this entire channel is all Markiplier's fault. All of my actions, Markiplier's fault. I am not to be held responsible for any of it. Go blame Markiplier. But yes, Memento Mori, the outro to all of my videos, is an Unus Annus reference, because I really loved Unus Annus. Nevada. Oh boy. Another one of those long-winded lore explanations. So, before I had a PC or anything to really, like, record high-end stuff with for background footage, and I was not gonna pay for background footage, because I don't pay for shit like that, sons, daughters, and those of unspecified gender. So I used Google Maps, because Google already has all of their copyright stuff all over it, so no biggie. I'm not making any money from it at the time, so no biggie. Like, who's gonna stop me from using Google Maps? Literally no one. So I used Google Maps, and I liked the desolate, empty places of Google Maps. And you know what's a desolate, empty place? Nevada. So I used a lot of rural Nevada, especially because a lot of the rural Nevada Google Maps stuff on Street View was snowy forest, or not forests, snowy mountains, and I love snowy mountains, so I used a ton of it. And then a subscriber, now patron, That's Insane Henry, noticed it was Nevada because he's worked a few jobs in central Nevada. And as anyone who lives in Nevada or has been to Nevada will tell you, the rural, empty parts of Nevada are eerie. It's terrifying. It is some the hills have eyes type vibe, but worse because it's in reality. You can't just point at this TV screen and be like, ha, you're getting murdered. No, that's gonna be you, Shuckle Nuts. So, obviously Nevada's a little spooky. So this guy's like, Nevada, that's spooky. Why are you doing me like this, man? Nevada is terrifying. And I was like, you're right, it is. And now that you've pointed it out, I'm gonna keep fucking doing it. So, for about a month and a half after that, I specifically told my editor that every single video needed to have Nevada in it. Just so that guy would be a little spooked, a little shook up. Thank you, That's Insane Henry, for taking the joke in good spirits, because by all rights, this was psychological warfare against you just for the fun of it. So, thanks for taking that in good heart, man. But anyway, that's how Nevada started. And then other people would jump in on it because Nevada. And then I got access to the community tab, wherein I started god tier shit posting, and one of my primary jokes was Nevada. And now Nevada has just snowballed into this massive thing. Truly, I love it. Hatred of Texas/Florida/the South. Alright, so for those of you who watch the channel, which I'm going to assume is most of you still watching this who did not click off in the first, 2 minutes, I hate the South with a passion. I am a good old red, white, and blue unionist, and I think the only mistake General Sherman made was not burning the rest of it to the ground, alright? He should not have stopped at Georgia. All of it. The whole thing. I hate the South. They might be like, but it never been. Why do you hate the South? There's a lot of culturally important things there. No, there isn't. What culturally important things? Racism? Dear God. It's a bit of a problem how much I hate the South. I hear someone is from Texas, and I immediately either dislike them or have a lot of pity for them. Which is very funny, because statistically speaking, about half of my US viewers who have their location turned on and can be collected by YouTube are from Texas and Florida, the two states I hate the most. The only solace I take in the demise of Earth via climate destruction is that Florida is going to sink into the sea within my lifetime. That's where it belongs, at the bottom of the ocean. You might be like, why? Because I want to. That's why. Because I need something. It is easy to make those states a butt of the joke. They write the jokes for me. There is nothing I could not say about Texas or Florida or the South as a general whole that some dumbass politician hasn't already said for me. The jokes are written for me. It's such an absurd place that most of the people with common sense that live there hate living there. Animals. I have a lot of animals. My parents have an animal problem where they just keep getting animals. It's fun. And because I live with my parents, because I'm just barely, well, not just barely anymore, I'm 18, still have yet to move out, because that big shmoney has not yet come to me. I help care for their animals, and they have a lot of animals. Chickens, turkeys, geese, pigs. Pigs are evil. You know that? Pigs are evil. In the state I hate the most, Texas, with its dumb abortion laws and all the Bible-thumping morons, and that purgatory of a state, you can get into a helicopter and shoot pigs for fun. I want to do that one day. Oh yeah, and also, here's a video of me playing with a baby goat.
Hey, what's up? Oh, come here. Come on, give it to me. Ah! Oh, look at you. What a big, strong boy. Oh, man. You're really chasing me away. Oh, what's up? Oh. Ah. Ah, man, look at you. You're so strong.
Alright, and now we're on to level 3. Most of these jokes are gonna be people who have either been with the channel for over a year or people who are in the Discord server, which, by the way, a lot of this came from the Discord server. So, if you haven't joined the Discord server already, I'm not going to force you to, but if you want to, it's pretty cool. We all chat, we all chill. It's all very fun. Wendigoon one-sided rivalry. Alright, so, I have this kind of one-sided rivalry with Wendigoon. I've said it before, I am coming for that man's house, his car, his dog, his father. I'm coming for all of it. I'm going to take it. Except not actually. I don't actually wish any harm upon Wendigoon. It's just that he's one of those topics that it is very easy to do the haha funnies about. And not in a hurtful way. I want to make it very clear, I love Wendigoon's content. I watch his stuff a lot. It's just that the one-sided rivalry is there because Wendigoon has done what I wanted to do and he did it in a very fast amount of time, and I am hoping that I can do it, so I make jokes about it because I make jokes about a lot of things. Easy joke topics. Now, as for the one-sided rivalry in and of itself, I feel like me and Wendigoon, despite being very different, fill similar niches. Me and Wendigoon both are on the mystery spooky side of YouTube. Me and Wendigoon both saw the genre as a whole and wanted to take a different approach to it. It's just that our approach was different. Wendigoon's persona online is a very calm, very wholesome, very chill dude. He's got, you know, a very laid-back vibe. He's got not entirely bad take opinions, and while he does flirt with the more interesting sides of the internets, being open about being a 4chan user, very bold one there, buddy, he's managed to stay ahead of the game and continue to grow with high-quality content and keeping whatever beliefs he may have that might be controversial out of the spotlight, because let's be honest, I love Wendigoon, but he is a white dude from the Midwest who's also a devout Christian. There's going to be some political opinions that he has that are not popular, and he's managed to circumvent that by saying politics sucks and I don't want to talk about him, which, good on you, buddy. Glad for that. Now, compared to that breakdown of Wendigoon, I am in many senses the opposite. I saw the genre and I decided, you know what this side of YouTube needs? It needs a wacky, unhinged maniac talking about very serious stuff, and also sliding in cum jokes and talking about how Mickey Mouse rules the world. And I'd say I've done pretty well with it. It is very unique. I don't think there are any YouTubers who make similar content to mine, which I take a lot of pride in, but it's also a double-edged sword, because, I mean, who is YouTube supposed to recommend this to? You know, who's like, you want to hear a maniac talk about McDonald's and somehow relate it to the JFK assassination for 45 minutes? Because I've done that. The McDonald's iceberg, it did great. But yeah, so whereas Wendigoon is chilled and laid back, I am very high-octane, very sarcasm-laden. If one of my videos doesn't have a joke, it's probably not a good video or it's a very heartfelt topic. So much so to the point that I made a 28-hour series discussing horrific murders, and I still managed to find a way to make jokes without being insensitive or a prick. I'd say I'm pretty good at it. Other people might disagree. That's just their opinion. They can think that all they want. But yeah, the one-sided rivalry stems from the sense that we are very similar and also very different, because we both want to mix up the side of YouTube we're in. We just have some very different approaches. However, at 10K, Wendigoon crossover episode? I forgot the word. Collaboration, that's a word. If we get to 10K before 2023, I will start harassing Wendigoon for a collaboration until he either tells me no or tells me yes. Todd. Todd is a member of the Discord server. When I asked the Discord server what they wanted to see, Todd was like, I want to see a member of the Discord server. And then that member of the Discord server was like, well, I'm very flattered. Thank you for that, buddy. I want to see that guy. And then the other guy was like, yeah, I want to see Todd. As for what Todd wanted to say when I recorded his entry, he said, I'm currently wearing Garfield socks, and the first video I watched was the Existential Crisis Iceberg. Thank you, Todd. Thank you for your contribution and your input. Now we're going to go ahead and knock out the next entry. Luante. Buddy, I am so sorry if I said that wrong. I really am. Trust me. You explained how to say it once, and I could not dig it back up. Anyway, Luante is one of the sorry souls trapped in the South, but he is also legit Giga Chad, and I love his energy in the Discord server. Dude has helped me with research and upcoming videos. Guy is awesome all around. Now, of course, I asked him what he wanted for his entry when I got to recording it, and he said something about Midwest Emo being there, and he's been here since 512 subs, and with that he'll be satisfied, and he thanks me. I'd like to thank you, Luante. You are a full-blown Giga Chad. Love this man's. Icebergs are dying. This is a sentence I have kind of bantied about vaguely in community posts and at the end of recent videos. And, well, it's time I finally cut the cheese and talk about this. This iceberg chart you're watching now may be one of the last iceberg chart videos I ever make. I don't know how many more I'm going to make, but I am going to tell you this. The iceberg chart trend is, well, it's not that strong anymore. There was a point in time where I was getting a lot of views through searches because people were searching for iceberg charts. This is not the case anymore. 60% of my view source through that just dried up, and I had to find a way to adapt and keep getting views. Luckily, the older videos still get views just by recommendations, and of course the newer videos, well, they haven't been doing the best, but they also aren't doing the worst, and there's a bit of them. So iceberg charts as a trend are just not really that wanted in the online space anymore. You have to think about it. People don't have as much free time as they did in the front half of 2021 throughout the summer and throughout the fall. The trend is, of course, going to go away because people just don't want to sit down for hours on end and listen to an iceberg chart be explained. At least, not all of them. I'd say I've done a pretty decent job of wrangling in a solid audience here, and it's not like I'm going to stop making iceberg charts altogether just yet. It's just that I'm going to be a bit more picky, and there's going to be other stuff that's uploaded. So, with iceberg charts dying, take a look at these last 4 uploads that I did, it was icebergs one after the other after the other. When I uploaded other iceberg charts of arguably less quality, with worse thumbnails and lower CTR rates, they still managed to get thousands of views within the first week. And that's not that the videos have gotten worse from there, or at least I sure do hope they haven't, because everything else about my YouTube career has improved. It's just that I'm not as lucky with that anymore, so I've got to move on to the next thing or I'm going to die with it. Now, if one day the iceberg trend comes back full force, will I hop back on it? Sure, if there's good icebergs, because a big part of icebergs dying is that iceberg chart creators didn't want to leave their creations alone. A 45 entry iceberg like this one is rare. It's uncommon. It doesn't happen very often. And also, not a lot of people want to sit through a 2-hour-long video and listen to someone explain something. The True Crime series is a perfect example of that. It's all good videos, and if I had made them each as individual standalone videos, they probably would have done a lot differently. But I made them an iceberg format that made them these chunks of video that were between 2 to 4 hours long. It just didn't work out that well. Now, there's no short icebergs. A lot of the quality ideas for icebergs have already been gobbled up and covered by dozens of YouTubers, and there's almost no new icebergs coming out alongside interest in the topic completely withering away. It is safe to say that the iceberg trend has died. I will still keep doing them every now and again because they're fun, but also, I want to do this for a living. And if you want to do YouTube for a living, you can't just chain yourself to a pole and then burn when that pole burns. You've got to be able to mix it up and change it up. So icebergs will still come every now and again. It's just that there's something else that is going to take the forefront of this channel, and we're getting into that in just a second. The mystery series and upcoming daily uploads. You know, Wendigoon recently compiled the entire Conspiracy Iceberg series into one video, and it was a paltry week 9 hours. My True Crime series was damn near 30 hours, 3 times the size, and I looked to the True Crime series, and I decided I hadn't had enough. So I set out to find a worthy next challenge, and I stumbled upon this behemoth. This thing is 1,000 entries, and I've learned from my mistakes. Call me Iron Man in that sense, because I learned from my mistakes, pull 0 bitches that aren't absolutely insane, and, well, I'm not wealthy. Not yet, at least. So, the Mystery Series. Every single one of these entries is getting its own video, just to prove that I am not only diabolical, but also that I am the greatest, and that I will be the greatest. So yes, that's what's coming next. Upcoming daily uploads. It starts as soon as I have about 21 of these videos stockpiled, just because I don't want to start daily uploading, and then, if something goes wrong, have to stop. But yeah, that's what's coming. Give it a few weeks and it'll be here. Literally 1984. Every time I made a bit of a joke that every time I read 1984 in an article that I was reading for a video, I would go ahead and volume warning. Literally 1984. So yeah, one of the first channels to talk about Redditor Worthless 319. Alright, so back in my crusty era of YouTube when most of my videos were made from my phone and a Chromebook, believe it or not, I discovered this weird Redditor profile, and it was a Redditor who was a religious fanatic who also shot his dick 7 times with a revolver because he believed he was the next Jesus and that God demanded he remove his penis and then die. So, yeah, I stumbled upon that and was a little, just a little confused. And then I made a video on it. And for a few months, this video just kind of sat. It got a few hundred views, you know. Actually, not even a few hundred. Really, I think it got, like, a bit over 100, and then it was just left there to rot. Yeah, you can see 176 in the first 70 days. And it kept going up, kept doing good, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's awesome. And then you know what happened? I'll tell you what happened. Bigger YouTubers covered it, and it just blew up, you know? And it's kind of a bummer, because the video could have been well-made, so much more well-made. This is, by all rights, a terrible video. But also, it blew up because other people talked about it, even though I was there first, which I'm not salty about. I am salty about it. I will always be salty about it. Still salty about it to this day, that someone made that video, and it was better than mine. I'll never let myself take an L like that again. Now, funnily enough, compared to typical retention, where about 33% made it to the end of my videos at the time, only 3% of all viewers made it to the end of this video, which, to be fair, it is not a well-made video. It's one of those early Another Pen, crusty, didn't quite have the humor down yet videos. But I was one of the first ones there, so I've still got that. Down horrendous era / taste in partners. Alright, so whenever I'm single, I joke I'm just in my down horrendous era, and my taste in partners is, well, it's a winning taste, that's for sure. Genetically, I am cursed to have shit taste in potential mates. Typically, I'm attracted to people who look like they will fuck up your life. And, you know, when someone looks like that, I wonder what they're gonna do. Oh no, they did exactly what they looked like they would do. How shocking. This development kind of came after... I don't know when it started, but it became a real problem. I think there's only one ex that I am still on good terms with, and me and her are great friends, and that was because it came out that she was asexual rather than a cheater or a raging narcissist, both of which are the things that I've had before. But we will talk about that when we talk about that, or we won't. Basically, what you need to know, I fucking love goth women and e-girls. E-girls are my favorite. Not e-girls in the sense of a girl you talk to over Discord and you're dating. I mean e-girls like the aesthetic. That is my aesthetic. I am ridiculously thirsty. Dying of thirst for an e-girl. If you're an e-girl and you're watching this, don't message me, because I don't talk to fans in that. The fuck you think is gonna happen? A Call Me Carson incident? Hell nah. I do have a specific rule about not talking to any subscribers or employees in that kind of sense, so unfortunately if you're watching this video and you're my type, you're off limits. But there's millions of people who aren't watching this video who are my type, and they're all on limits, and you bet I'm gonna talk absolutely zero game at them. Zero game. So what do you think I'm gonna do? Just slide up the shoddy and be like, hey babe,
Wanna fuck?
Chromebook era. I briefly mentioned that I made videos from a Chromebook, which is gotta be one of the most painful ways to make videos ever. So, for those who don't know, for the first about year of me being on YouTube, I used KineMaster on a Chromebook. Now, Chromebook runs what is basically Android OS on a laptop, and it sure is a blast. You can get absolutely nothing. It's almost completely worthless. A Linux support, Chromebook uses one of the most needlessly complex forms of Linux, Gen 2 I believe it is. So me trying to do things on Linux with a Chromebook did not end well, and the Chromebook just did not have the capacity. So I was doing things that I, by no rights, should have been able to do. But I did them regardless, because I'm built like that. So for about the first year, honestly year and a half more like, everything was recorded on a Chromebook, and then after I hired Linthari, it'd be sent to Linthari via Google Drive and she'd put it together. I didn't really like putting together videos because KineMaster would have their logo up in the corner there, and you have me messed up. You got me wrong if you think I am gonna pay a damn dime to get that logo removed. I was not. And thus, a lot of my older videos have, you know, they have the KineMaster logo, and you can tell they were made from a Chromebook, and the microphone quality is questionable. But I really did love that Chromebook, and I was very sad when one day it just stopped turning on. But also, we all know that was coming. I pushed that thing beyond its limits. It should have exploded. And with that, we are on to level 4. This is pretty far into the iceberg, so if you're still watching and you made it this far, thank you. I'm assuming you're subscribed. If you're not, you're watching me talk about myself, which I'm struggling to do because it feels insanely egotistical and narcissistic. But go ahead and just press subscribe if you're new here. Anyway, let's get into it. Suna Sunu. Suna Sunu was that Unus Annus fan ARG that I covered. I never managed to solve it because I didn't have the resources, but I did talk about it, and these 4 videos did really jumpstart my will to YouTube again, and they got a solid amount of views and a solid amount of subscribers. It was very interesting for a time that my entire community knew what Unus Annus was, whereas now, I'm willing to bet majority of my community doesn't. As a matter of fact, as I'm recording and editing this, I think I'm going to post a poll just to see how many do or don't remember. Short stories. Believe it or not, I am an author. I write stuff and things. And thus, there's been a few times where I've either narrated my own short stories or shilled my short stories to the audience. As a matter of fact, there used to be a once-a-week stream that would just be me writing things, and it was a very different time for my channel. Now, however, I don't have the capacity anymore. The Chromebook, piece of dirt it was, it could stream. My new PC cannot. It is held together with duct tapes and hopes, despite all that it's capable of. So, the live streams have gone for now. However, I do still write short stories, and I am an author. And I have finished an entire book. I've just yet to get it published, because publishing is a nightmare, especially when you work a full-time job, do YouTube, and also still want a little bit of a social life. Another Pen wasn't allowed to watch cartoons as a child. This is one of those things that is in here because of the Discord server. I regaled the Another Pen lore, which is that when I was a little kid, my mom thought cartoons would make me a moron, so she banned me from watching cartoons. Now, of course, me being the oldest, this ban only affected me. All of my younger siblings that came after were allowed to watch cartoons, which is something I'm definitely not still salty about, the unfairness of it. Anyway, I wasn't allowed to watch cartoons, so I had to, smuggle the 2 cartoons that I did watch, which was The Clone Wars and Ben 10. I loved Ben 10 and I loved The Clone Wars, and I would risk some shit to watch those cartoons when I was a little kid. But it mostly just wound up with me watching Science Channel all the time and becoming a massive nerd, which does affect some other things, but me watching Science Channel gave me a passion and a love for learning on my own terms and my own time. And I'd say it's a beneficial thing. You know, I loved astrophysics when I was a kid. I loved engineering. I'd watch Mythbusters, all of the space shows that Science Channel had. I hated how it's made, though. I absolutely loathed it, which is why I'd always be up at, like, the weird hours when they had the oddball space stuff on, rather than just watching how it's made all day. The last thing I want is... And now that we have the peanut butter in here, we go ahead and we insert the peanut butter into the Foxcom delivery to make sure that the horse inseminator still functions properly. Once this stage is completed, the peanut butter will be washed out of the horse inseminator and it will be shipped off to farms where a horse will be jacked off into it and a mare will be inseminated. I did not like how it's made. Some people like it, not me. Videos under 100 views. Before I get into this entry, let's just take a moment to admire the r/place iceberg explained at nearly 300 views. This definitely should be alongside my videos that don't have 100 views. Thank you, YouTube Studio. Now, carrying on. I make a ton of videos. Like I said, 299 including this one. So, of course, a lot of them are going to fall by the wayside and just not have a lot of views. And this is where about 100 and... I think, Jesus Christ, 130 lie, just about. We scroll down to the bottom, yep, 1 through 50 of about 130. And it is just me talking about stuff. Some of these videos I expect to do poorly. Some of these videos I'm very salty when they do poorly. For example... the Skyline GTR in action, that video was a fucking masterpiece and everyone knows it, but for some oddball reason, nobody clicked on it. Thanks, gang! Jokes aside, though, I do appreciate the views that I do get. It's just very interesting to see how some of my videos do extremely well, and then a lot of them don't. And some of these, they're bad videos. They deserve to kind of rot and sit at the bottom where they are. And other of these videos... they're pretty neat, they're pretty cool. I'm kind of sad that people don't get to see them, but oh well. Original goal careers. Believe it or not, being a YouTuber was not my original dream. My original dream was to be an astrophysicist, a theoretical astrophysicist specifically. I loved science, and I really, really loved space so much, and I wanted to do it for a living. And I wound up not doing it because I found out about middle school that I had dysnumeria, or dyscalculia, which is, it's dyslexia but for numbers. So sometimes numbers don't make sense to me, and if I'm stressed out, I just cannot read them. It made doing math incredibly hard, and I failed math 3 times in a row in high school. It was embarrassing, to be frank. It was kind of tragic. But obviously, math not being my forte, physics was probably not the best field to go into, especially with all of the college debt, and as much as I would love space and I'd hopefully love my job, I probably would not have wound up being happy. So I gave up that career, and then I was like, well, now what do I do? Because I had wanted to be an astrophysicist since I was 8, and then now at like 15 I realized that would not be in the cards for me. And I was like, well, I'll know what I'll do. I'll fix the world. I'll be a politician. And then I started studying law and politics and political history and law history, and it's a very ugly business. I also realized, alongside the fact that the only solution I saw to the political problem was just earth-shattering amounts of violence, that maybe I should not go into politics, and as a matter of fact, I should probably stay very, very far away from politics, because I would not wind up being a happy man in politics, even though I do know how to talk very well. I am very eloquent with my words, and I guess you could describe me as charismatic in a sense, and by all rights, I do great as a politician. I just would not be happy with it. So I gave up that idea too, and I didn't know what I was going to do until I started doing YouTube. And then I really loved YouTube, and I wanted to keep doing YouTube, and here I am, still doing YouTube. First iceberg video. The first iceberg video I ever made was the Grubhub ad Iceberg Chart Explained. This was a post recommended to me randomly by Reddit, and I saw this and was like, my god, I need to do it. And then I wondered how many other people were doing iceberg charts, and at the time it was a lot, so I was like, hey, that's super cool that this iceberg thing is a whole trend. I'm going to make this video. And I made that video, and it did very well. And my response was to follow it up with a few meh videos and then not do another iceberg for months, because I was tired of them. Boy, was that guy stupid. But as you can see, this video did incredibly well compared to my other videos at the time. We can see 3.2k views, still having it as one of my most viewed videos of all time. Shockingly, it's gotten views in real time, which that's not very common on my older videos, that someone watches my stuff that happened, you know, over a year ago. You can also see got the watch hours, and of course it gained 30 subscribers, so 30 of you guys came here because of it. Now what's very funny to me is I was looking for this, through this, just kind of shopping around before I made the clip for the video, is that someone, of all people, on May 1st, just before May 1st, so April 27th, or 28th or 29th, just about, unsubscribed from my channel watching this iceberg of all things, which I think is pretty funny because it is such an old video. Who would even go back and watch this thing? To be frank, this is not my best work. It is not exactly the greatest video, but it is where it all started, and it directly led to what you see today. So for that, I am very appreciative, and I think I did a decent job for, you know, what I was handed. But yes, that is the Grubhub ad iceberg chart, also known as the first iceberg video I ever made. Pee-wee's first iceberg video. Google Maps background footage. I mentioned this briefly in the Nevada entry, but I used to use Google Maps Street View for background footage before I moved to using games and stuff. It had this very distinct vibe to it that I liked. However, I've since moved on from it, and I think it's a nice little relic of the Another Pen mythos and the Another Pen past. But at one point, every video I had Google Maps in it, hence the creation of jokes such as Nevada. And now we're on to level... oh, Jesus Christ, what level is this? 5. I'm on to level 5. At 100 subscribers, I figured I was a big boy. I was feeling myself. I was ready to go into the man's club that is Twitter. And so I did. And it was a mistake. It was just bad for my mental health all around. And I got into a lot of very interesting interactions on Twitter. A lot of shit posting. But the fact of the matter is, I was on Twitter. And then I fell down a strange loophole that apparently someone had leaked Donda. And I was like, whoa, I don't really like Kanye, but shit, let me hear this. Let's see if he's gone fully insane. So I go into the thread, and then there's someone with, like, click on my profile. And I click on their profile, and they just have a bunch of dumbass takes, right? So I'm like, well, that's stupid. So I kind of keep scrolling just to see if all of their takes are that stupid. And then what happens is I see a video showing map support that they shared. So I scroll back and I'm like, you know, to their original thing, and I reply to them, I'm going to find your house and burn it down. I believe the exact wording of the tweet was, I'm going to dox you and burn your house down. And later that night, Twitter suspended me for threats of violence. Now, I was in a bit of a conundrum, because I couldn't exactly undo that. I can't exactly go up to Twitter and be like, no, guys, understand, it was a goof, it was a gab. I only jokingly threatened to burn that guy's house down and dox him. Because I stated pretty clearly what my intentions were. So, obviously I couldn't appeal the ban, so I just simply left for a time. And I'm back on Twitter now, but I was definitely never banned or suspended beforehand. So, this incident, as far as you are concerned, it didn't happen. Another Pen real spelling. Originally, I wanted it to be another underscore pen to match my Reddit handle because the Reddit account came first, believe it or not. I figured that the underscore added a little bit of flavor, a little bit of spice. So I had it at first, and then I was like, well, that's really bad for searchability. How am I supposed to tell someone to search up another underscore pen and then find my channel? So I took it out, and it's just another pen with a space instead of an underscore that's quirky and such. No Sleep Narrations. People have told me for a long time that, oh my god, your voice would be great for No Sleep Narrations, and then whenever I narrate a No Sleep story, nobody fucking watches it. It's kind of hypocritical if we're being frank. But anyway, we're not being frank because we're being whatever our respective names are. I'm Another Pen, I'm gonna take a guess. Joe. Yeah, what's up, Joe? Anyway, the No Sleep Narrations, there's been a few of them where I just simply read a story for like 10 minutes. I mean, I like doing it. It's not exactly unfun. It's just that No Sleep is kind of a hard climate to navigate because a lot of authors want to be paid for their work, and I don't have spare money to be bantying about. But also, I do want to pay them for their work, so I just don't because I can't pay them for their work. And I get it as an author. You know, you want to be paid for what you write if someone else is going to use it, so I'm not going to demand they do it for free. Now, however, there might come a day where I go ahead and get back into No Sleep Narrations. I've mostly left No Sleep because all of the top stories feel really clickbaity, and what I want to do is get back into stories I actually like, which are unfortunately relegated to the /X board of 4chan amidst a bunch of anti-Semitic BS and racism and guys, how do I summon a succubus? So, I mean, I'm not exactly lucky when it comes to searching for stories I like. And also, YouTube is not very kind to /X narrators. So if I ever do narrate stories like that, I'm gonna have to be very particular about where I definitely did not find these stories, because YouTube will crucify me if I am. The Old Guard. The Old Guard is how I refer to people who have been subscribed to my channel since 2020. This is about 90 or so people, but most of them aren't very active in the community, so the names that you'll see around that have been here and have been here, trust me, are Andrew F. Andrew F. was actually my 15th subscriber, and bro has straight up been here from the start. Legitimately, since I was posting silly, stupid little saxophone videos, dude has been here. It's very incredible, so thank you, Andrew F. There's also... God, I can't remember the full name, it's too complex. Kujo Jotaro, I believe, Stand Ocean Man. He knows who he is. You probably don't. If you see this video, I'm sorry for butchering your name, buddy. There's also Linthari, who was here before 50 subscribers. There's the Purple Snail. There's Swine the Homeless. And there is Lupe Preciado. Basically, all of these people who have been with my channel since before 100 subscribers, and you can still occasionally see them in the comments, which is really nice. It's really incredible to see that the community has stayed and grown. It's very, very sweet. Old live streams and compilations. So like I said, I used to live stream once a week, and one of the first things I had my editor put together when she started working for me was live stream compilations, basically just the funny moments, and you can still see that playlist. It's still up there in my playlists tab. It's a very interesting part of history because my presentation on camera was not the best it could have been, and I do think that if I live streamed now, I'd be a lot better at it now than I was then. But it's just so intriguing to see little baby Another Pen with his short hair. My hair's now like twice the length of what it was in a lot of those because I let my hair keep growing. Yes, that's right, I'm a long hair king, and I think we ought to have more of those. No more swear words. I am over 1,000 subscribers. I've already met the watch hour requirements. I've already got all the views I need. I could be monetized, but I have not yet monetized myself because I am afraid of how many swear words are in my videos. I am very afraid of that. And thus, I don't monetize just yet because I want my videos to have less swear words and be less easy targets for demonetization before I do, because if I'm told no when I apply, it becomes a nightmare to get back in. So no more swear words for now. You'll see that I have slowed down a lot on the cussing in this video, and I'm going to keep doing that. Now, cussing is just an easy shortcut to comedy, so what this is really doing is it's forcing me to think more rather than dropping an F-bomb, and instead having to come up with more elaborate, more eloquent jokes. So overall, this is a good thing, but it is going to be very interesting to see the end of a time where I could just casually say The pig katana happening. Oh boy, this is a story I regaled to the Discord servers. It happened in live time, and they asked to have it in here. So, the story of the pig katana happening. What happened there? Alright, like I said, I own animals, I own pigs, and thus, pigs are noisy. Now, the way that my house is laid out is that it is a very large house. It's a McMansion. My parents have a shit ton of kids. I'm the oldest of 6, so they definitely need it. The sorry bastards. Now, there is a downstairs part, and then one upstairs part on the far end of the house, and another upstairs part on the other end of the house. The upstairs part on the other end of the house is inhabited by my parents. The upstairs part on the far end of the house is inhabited by me and 2 of my younger siblings. Okay? Now, this part of the house was supposed to have a porch. The problem is the porch was not legal, so when it came time to sell the house, they ripped the porch out. What they did not do, however, was fix the wall. So there is a big-ass sliding door just sitting there. A gate to oblivion, simply waiting for someone to open that thing and fall out of it. Now, of course, with that sliding glass door, I can hear a lot of things going on outside, even if it's closed. And just beyond that sliding glass door are where we keep several of the animals, if not most of them. So, I am simply big chilling recording one night, and I hear something. It's the pigs. These are not little baby pigs, mind you, although I do have some of those, the weirdos. These are 500-pound hogs. They are screaming. They're yelling. Typically, this means either 1, someone is out there with food and teasing them, or 2, something is attacking them. Now, the way that they're yelling, I don't think it's a food screaming, so something's attacking them. There are coyotes where I live, so it's not improbable. So, I realize, half-naked, that I need to do 2 things. I need to, 1, arm myself, because if there's enough coyotes out there to make the pigs scream in agony like that, I am going to need a weapon. Coyotes don't attack something bigger than them unless they are desperate, hungry, and large in number. So that means that I am presumably going to have to face a pack of desperate, hungry coyotes. Now, the right weapon for this would have been a gun. Don't have a gun in my side of the house, and the time it would take for me to get a gun, the pigs would already be dead. So, I can't get a gun. A hatchet or an axe would be a good one, but we keep all of those in the shop. The shop is a part of my property that is just this abandoned hangar for a glider. Long story. But that's locked, so I can't get in there. So that leaves me with the weapons in my room. The weapons in my room being various knives and a katana. A full-sized, sharpened katana. So, I decide in a split second that the pigs are being hurt, I need a weapon, no weapons around, I'm grabbing my katana, because that is sharp, it is a weapon, I do use it to cut stuff for practice, so obviously I could probably harm some animals with it if need be. So I grab the katana, go downstairs, shirtless, just in shoes and shorts. Here's where the other part of this comes in. One of my younger siblings, the shitlin that she may be sometimes, she has friends over. 4 friends over. All 4 of her 12 to 13-year-old friends are in the living room that I have to walk through to get outside. The living room that I am walking through shirtless and armed with a katana. Obviously, this is going to be a bit of a weird look. I decide, screw it. The pigs are already in danger. I've raised these things from the time they could fit in my hand and watched them turn from sweet little cute guys to absolute evil behemoths. So if anyone's going to kill them, it's going to be me, and I will be sent to purgatory before I let those animals be killed by someone that isn't me. So I just walk through the living room. I go outside, I've got the katana ready, I'm expecting the worst. The pigs are still screaming. They're still screaming as I round the corner past the shop to where the pens are. And then they go silent. Completely silent. In the glint of the moonlight, the dirt around them doesn't seem very disturbed. It doesn't seem like a large number of coyotes was through here. It doesn't seem like any number of coyotes was through here. I look around, expecting to see an animal, or worse, a carcass. Nothing. The silence, however, is appalling. I whistle to the pigs. I go, typically they respond to that. They don't this time. Nervously, I set down the sword, fish my phone out of my pocket, and turn on the flashlight. I look inside the pig pen. Nothing. I angle myself so I can see inside the shelter we have for them, this little shed, best described. And then I see them, at last. The pigs are having sex. I threw on my shoes, walked outside with a katana, expecting a fight. They were just banging. They were banging and being very loud. Pig intercourse is very noisy, very disturbing stuff. I was fuming. I was livid. And of course, I realized if this wasn't me, it'd be pretty funny to hear, so I regale it to the Discord server, and they all think it's pretty funny. So yeah, that is the katana pig happening. I went outside armed with a katana because I thought the pigs were dying. The pigs were not dying, they were instead having the time of their lives. Deleted/lost videos. Now, there has not been any videos uploaded to the YouTube channel that I've ever deleted. There is, however, videos that I have made and then deleted from my computer before uploading because I didn't like them. I'm pretty 50-50 on whether or not I do not care in the slightest or if I'm a perfectionist. And when I'm a perfectionist, I'm a perfectionist. When I don't care, I don't care. But when it comes to the videos I upload, I tend to be a perfectionist. If I don't like the concept, I simply will not upload it. And with that in mind, that means that there's a lot of videos that I've made that are like, wow, this would be absolutely terrible. You have wasted so much of your time. And I delete them. There's also videos that I have sent, projects that I've worked on and sent to my editor that I've just simply never gotten back and we've never had the time. One of these is Who Sunk the Mary Ann, this short story podcast thing that I wrote. It's my first dibble-dabbling into script writing and organizing for all of this. It's not the best story, but it's not the worst. And it's also not gonna come out. It's been so long since I've done it. It's probably just going to sit in some crusty file on my editor's computer untouched for a very long time, if it ever comes out at all. So sorry for you, Linthari, that you worked on that, and it's just never going to be delivered. There is also, of course, short stories that I've had narrated, and of course a choose-your-own-adventure thing that I wrote that was this surrealist look into mental health issues. And well, that's still trapped in the dungeon, the basement. It's lost. There's a lot of videos that are lost like that. There's another pen lost media, to put it bluntly, which I think is pretty neat, but is also kind of sad because I'll never be able to show it to all of you. The Jacob Geller interaction. Jacob Geller is a video essayist that I love and have also had one very embarrassing interaction with. Yep, that's right. The lower parts of the iceberg are just me exposing myself, I guess. So, the screenshots of this are gone. They died with my Chromebook. Rest in peace, soldier. The Jacob Geller interaction was me asking Jacob Geller on Twitter, hey, how much do you make per video? And he just responds with, really went for the first tweet you saw, huh? And I was like, yeah, I did, but you didn't have to call me out like that, man. And there it stayed. There it was. The final level. This is stuff that almost nobody but me knows. The Tyler, the Creator Vibrator Sacrifice. Oh boy, this is a shitstorm that was very recent. So, me and my most recent ex, you know, we wanted to spice things up a little, and she wanted a sex toy. I wanted to go see Tyler, the Creator live. Well, you know which one we wound up picking? The vibrator. So I get this thing, pay like $130 for it after shipping and all that. The cost of the Tyler, the Creator tickets was $115, so there goes my savings for that. I mean, I could afford to get to California, but I could, like, sit outside the stage and listen, maybe. So I sacrificed going to see Tyler, the Creator live for a sex toy. And then my at-the-time partner is like, yeah, you know, I don't think this is working. And, you know, we break up, which is good. Honestly, I'm way happier outside of that relationship, and she was at one point subscribed to this channel, so if you're still here, madame, please, leave. Go. What are you still doing here? You have better shit to be doing than watching your ex's YouTube videos. But anyway, you know, we break up, It's for the best. I'm a lot happier. My grind is up. My money is up. Everything about my life is up. And I have this fucking vibrator in a box that I can do nothing with because a vibrator does not work on a dude. Parts are not compatible. And I sacrificed seeing Tyler, the Creator, live for it. A moral of the story? There is no moral of the story. I should have gone to see Tyler, the Creator, instead. Another pen is actually unhinged. How many other people would tell a group of strangers and potentially the entire internet the last story? Not a lot. As a matter of fact, I regaled that story to the patrons room, and when I asked if the patrons think that I should put it on the iceberg, they said, and I quote, ISIS could be waterboarding me, and you couldn't get me to willingly say that. People are simply not built the way that I am built, and I be doing the most absurd and wackiest things just for the sake of doing them. So, I think it is not entirely unfair if someone looks at me and is actually like, yeah, this dude is a little out there. This dude is a little... I wouldn't blame someone for saying that, which is why it's on the iceberg. A subscriber of mine, one of the old guard, the Purple Snail, put it very succinctly, which is you somehow get more unhinged with every subscriber. 2 community posts directly reference an ex-girlfriend. Remember that chick I was talking about in the Tyler, the Creator vibrator sacrifice entry? Same girl. 2 of the community posts directly reference her because at the time I was like, oh wow! I'm not alone anymore. That's so great. I'm gonna talk about it. That guy was a moron. That guy needed to learn some things. But yes, there are 2 community posts deep within the annals of it that are direct references to the fact that I was at the time dating someone. There was also, well, there's technically 3 if you really think about it because of the critical merch one. But that is for a different time. Now, I haven't deleted these, mostly because I don't believe in deleting things you upload or create, so once I have gotten to the point where I'm uploading a video, if it is out, I'm not deleting it. It's just that simple. If people have seen it, I'm not deleting it. If I wanted to delete it, I should have done it at any other point beforehand, so I don't delete videos off of my channel. Same deal with posts, and that's why they're still there. It's a little bit funny to bring them up, I think. Bucket. Alright, Bucket was one of the characters of the short stories that I'd write during the live streams, and he was this time-traveling, androgynous, green mustache-having maniac that I absolutely loved. And he came about because one of the old guard, again the Purple Snail, was like, you should name one of your characters Bucket, and I did, and I rolled with it, and Bucket is still out there. I've legitimately thought about commissioning fan art of Bucket and finding a way to bring him back because I just love Bucket as a piece of Another Pen lore. It's just sad that he's so obscure now. Eating the zombie. Alright, so after short story writing, I moved on to AI Dungeons to see what AI Dungeons could come up with. And in one of these stories, Bucket was in a zombie apocalypse. How he found himself there? Fantastic question, but he found himself there. And I figured, what is in character for Bucket to do? Well, what's in character for Bucket to do is to try and seduce a zombie, alright? And, well, Bucket did, and then I was like, well, Bucket is actually after his Kit Kat bars. Bucket is not about sex. Inappropriate. So, Bucket is like, where's my candy? And the zombie is like, ooh, you don't have any candy, hot stuff. So I decide Bucket should eat the zombie. And AI Dungeons took that a very different way than what I meant. Clip is here.
Oh my god, no! Nope. Nope.
Where is Another Pen from?
You tell me, where am I from?
Another Pen real name. On my birth certificate, it actually says Another Pen. Yeah, no, I'm not telling you guys my real name just yet, but I will tell you what. Name reveal if we get to 10K before 2023. Promise. And with that, we are through another video. This one felt a little weird to be talking about me the entire time, but thank you so much for watching. Thank you to me for putting this together and editing it. Thank you to you, again, for watching. Thank you to my patrons at the time of recording. 4 patrons, Sumi, David Height, That's Insane Henry, and AJ. It is with your guys' support I can do stuff like keep the lights on. I'm assuming that if you made it this far, you're subscribed to the channel. If not, you watched me talk about myself for however many minutes, go ahead and just subscribe. And if you have the spare cash and you want to, you can always subscribe to the Patreon. It does support me, it does help me out a lot, it helps me do cool stuff like eat and pay for things. And now I'm going to go ahead and stop talking. So again, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much, truly, from the bottom of my heart for 1,000 subscribers. It means the world to me. I've lived to prove people wrong, and most people around me didn't think that I could do something like this, and I did it. And I'm going to keep doing it, and we're going to keep doing it. So, really, thank you so much. Until next time, have a great time. Memento Mori.